How we doing today? Are we winning? Well, thank you. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you for being here in Chicago. And thank you so much for the invitation. It is always great to be surrounded by folks who understand the sacrifices made by our veterans and our military families. We all join the military for different reasons. Some are looking for an opportunity to learn some skills and get an education. For others, it's something that they just grew up with. And some are just drawn to it for reasons that we sometimes can't even explain. For me, it was a combination of those things. My grandfathers both served in World War II. One in the Merchant Marine in the Atlantic, and the other in the U.S. Navy in the Pacific. My parents were both cops. My dad was in the Army, before that in the 82nd Airborne. And I grew up knowing that I wanted to serve somehow. I also felt it was sort of an obligation. Now, if you grow up in New Jersey and your last name is Kelly, you're basically expected to be a cop or a firefighter. But my brother and I, we both wanted to fly airplanes in the Navy. Now, one of America's greatest strengths is that we have an all-volunteer military. It really is. It sets us apart. And it underpins the discipline and dedication that makes our military so effective. Folks come from all over our country with all different kinds of backgrounds to serve. Republicans, Democrats, independents. We've all served alongside folks of different political stripes and some who aren't political at all. What matters is that we are all soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and now guardians. But more than that, it's that we're Americans. Some Republicans like to think that their political party has a monopoly on patriotism. That's not the case. No political party does. But in this election, it's pretty clear to me, I'm sure clear to you, which presidential candidate supports service members and veterans and which one does not. It was under Kamala Harris's and Joe Biden's leadership that we passed the PACT Act. This was the largest expansion of veterans' health care in decades. And it's this administration's Department of Veterans Affairs that has rolled out this program rather successfully. Already, more than 5.7 million veterans have been screened for toxic exposures. Now that's government working the way it should, supporting veterans. Those are Kamala Harris's values. We all know that Donald Trump does not understand that. This is the guy who spat on the legacy of Senator John McCain, a hero of mine whose Senate seat I am currently in. Donald Trump has called veterans who have paid the ultimate price suckers and losers. Just this past week, he said that the Civilian Presidential Medal of Freedom was better than the Medal of Honor because Medal of Honor recipients, now these are his words, not mine, because Medal of Honor recipients are either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets or they're dead. The VFW, of which I'm a member, called these comments asinine. I agree. Now, we've heard this kind of stuff from Donald Trump plenty of times, a lot. But here's the question, why does he say things like this about those of us who have laid down their lives to serve our country? It's kind of puzzling. I think it's because the concept of putting someone else before himself is so foreign to Donald Trump that he believes it's something that you have to be conned into. He's a convicted felon who spent his career stiffing people. And that's how he sees the world. You're either the con man or you're getting conned. There's no other option for him. He thinks people are tricked into joining the military, tricked into risking their lives for our country. He doesn't understand us. When I was flying over Iraq during the first Gulf War, my first combat mission, and I had a surface-to-air missile lock onto my airplane, my very first time in combat, I didn't think to myself, how did I get tricked into this? And I'll never forget when I said to my bombardier navigator, a guy named Paul Fujimura, that we have a missile coming right at us. And the only thing he said to me is he says, Roger, I'm tracking the target. So I wasn't sure he heard me, but he's looking at the radar and the infrared sensor in the airplane, and I said to him, Paul, did you hear, we have a missile coming right at us. And again, his only response was, Roger, I'm tracking the target. Eventually, I have to do this last-ditch maneuver, roll the airplane upside down. I put the stick in my lap, full power. Missile flies over the top, the bus explodes. Airplane shakes, get the airplane heading back towards the target. By the way, you know what's worse than seeing the first missile? Seeing the second one. And we go through this whole thing again, and eventually we get our bombs on the target, a place called Shaiba Airfield, Basra, southern Iraq. But my point is that Paul was focused on the mission. He trusted me to do my job, and I trusted him to do his. It's what service members do. And our only reward was that we would destroy the target and maybe get home safe. That's the excellence of the U.S. military. That's what sets us apart. And that is something that Donald Trump just does not understand. Now, we have an opportunity to elect somebody who understands this, Kamala Harris. And there is a lot that you guys can do to help. A lot. Your voice matters. A tremendous amount. It really does, especially in this election right now against somebody who just doesn't get it. And there is so much energy this week. Energy at the United Center here, energy in Glendale like I had never seen before at any political event, 15,000 people in a room. Never experienced anything like that. And I've been through this with other folks running for president. I've never seen anything like that. But now the key is we've got to turn that energy into votes. So I need you to continue to be involved. Your ability to tell your stories, to share your perspective on what this choice means between Donald Trump, a relic from the past, and Kamala Harris, who can lead this country into the future. It matters now more than ever. So thank you. And let's accomplish this mission together, and let's make sure that Kamala Harris is our next commander-in-chief. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.